The view of most Kenyans is Kenya Kwisha. According to them, the judiciary, the executive, and the legislature are all together as one. No separation of powers. So that is the end of Kenya. And that is why my immediate previous video did not make sense to many. Even emails that I've received clearly tell me that most of us do not see how. How is it that the judiciary has cut its own feet? How is it that the judiciary has finished itself? How is it that decisions made by Chief Justice Martha Koome have completely finished the judiciary and indeed her tenure as an effective Chief Justice? And admittedly, that video was very deep. I totally understand. And therefore on my show today, I want bila kizungu mingi to clarify a few issues. And this will be super fascinating, I assure you. Because I'm going to pick on two real life cases where I think what is going to happen to the judiciary happened. And the first example I'm going to give was actually quite recent. And it is the case of Justice Said Chitembwe, who is now out. Okay? And the analysis of that case is not only instructive, I mean what happened, what unfolded, but it is more than fascinating. You see, the key issue here is that people are not finished by outside forces. Hardly ever. As the Swahili have a saying, kikulacho kiko nguoni mwako. What eats you is not what is outside. What eats you is within your very clothing. Yeah, that's the translation. Many Kenyans forget that the whole saga of Justice Said Chitembwe started with Sonko going to seek help for himself. You see, at the time, he had an ongoing case. Yeah, he had been impeached and he was seeking protection from the courts. In fact, one analyst for a local daily put it like this. He posed the question: supposing the ruling by the judges had gone in favor of Sonko, would he have exposed Judge Chitembwe? The way this analyst posed this question, the answer to that question is no, according to him. Let me put it the Kenyan way. Tunacheza pamoja, unaniuza, alafu mimi nasema hapana, umenifanya vibaya, mimi pia nakuuza na nakumaliza. That is really what it was. Now in the video that Mike Sonko leaked, yeah, which went viral, his case was not discussed. How convenient. But you see, if it is you with the video, you can edit. Yeah, you can start at a certain point and stop at a certain point where your case is not being discussed. And don't forget that Mike Sonko is related, is a relative of Chitembwe. He is married to his sister. But this is where the whole saga started. This leaked video is what kicked off the process that led to the ouster of Chitembwe. You know, there's an English word, implosion, yeah, which means an explosion from within, not from outside. An explosion within causes the whole structure to crumble. That's an implosion. And this is exactly what we're talking about here. Example number 2 is from politics. Now, not many analysts have analyzed how and why KANU, the mighty KANU party of Moi, crumbled in 2002. And I guess it's understandable. We were all so delighted. We were celebrating. Kenyans were over the moon. There was no time to go back and talk about hated KANU and how they imploded. And so now for the first time, we're going to do that. And it is especially relevant just now, because I believe this is exactly what is going to happen to our powerful judiciary. In organizing his exit strategy from power, President Daniel Toroitich Arap Moi, in that succession plan, ignored or failed to manage a very important component. And this kind of thing happens all the time, even in companies. There is somebody in line for promotion, but then you decide strategically to promote somebody else who is behind them in the pecking order. Yeah, that is very dangerous, because this person you overlooked for promotion and promoted somebody else over their heads can be very dangerous to you, and they can easily finish your company. Now, I've seen this practically over the years many times, and that is exactly what happened to KANU. You see, it was a foregone conclusion that the then Vice President Professor George Saitoti would be the KANU candidate in the 2002 presidential elections. After all, he was the very faithful Vice President. I have been your faithful Vice President all these years. I've always stood by you. I have always supported you. And then now you want to jump me. How now? Something like that. But the situation in KANU was even messier than that, because there were other ambitious senior politicians. Politicians who were even more senior than Professor George Saitoti, who also had ambitions for the presidency. And they were sure that they were best placed to be the KANU candidate for the presidency in 2002. Kalonzo Musyoka, for example. And you know, this man has never recovered from 2002 to date. Yeah, that is the real beef, if you want to understand him. And there were many other KANU heavyweights, like a man who was called Joseph Kamotho. You know, the thinking at the time was that the best strategy for KANU to use would be to field a candidate from the Mount Kenya region, because that's the only way they would beat the opposition. That was the thinking of many within KANU at the time. And there was a man called Joseph Kamotho who was in pole position for this. All those characters were overlooked, and Moi picked a rookie in politics, a very inexperienced politician at the time, called Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. Moi's way of dealing with these dissenting voices within KANU, who were opposed to his choice for presidential candidate, was to use threats and his authority as president and leader of KANU to shut them up. Okay? And here's a very fascinating example. Joseph Kamotho was ordinarily very close to Moi, and therefore it was decided amongst this group of senior politicians in KANU, bigwigs, that he would approach Moi and try to convince him to change his mind about fielding Uhuru as the KANU candidate. And when Kamotho went to Moi, it is said that Moi's response was very angry. He told Kamotho, "Have you forgotten that if it wasn't for me, you would be in prison, you would be in jail right now? What have I not done for you? How dare you oppose my wise decision?" And that was the end of the discussion. Analysts have never been able to find out what Moi was referring to. What Kamotho did that would have landed him in jail, that Moi saved him from. That is still a mystery, which I hope will be solved one day. And so the implosion that brought down the mighty KANU started in earnest. Okay? Oh, I have forgotten one more character who was very important in this drama. A man who had been promised that there would be a free and fair election to elect, for the delegates, the KANU delegates, to elect the presidential candidate for KANU. And there would be no interference. Moi had promised him. And in fact, this man at the time was the Secretary General of KANU. His name is Raila Odinga. And this is the man who led KANU rebels out of KANU to form a political party, a brand new one, called LDP. And this is the political outfit that merged with the opposition to completely wipe out KANU from the political map. Now, in case you didn't know, there are many characters within the judiciary who believe, personally, that they would make a better Chief Justice. Just like in KANU in 2002, there were many people who believed they would make a much better, more experienced presidential candidate than Moi's project, Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. Now, concerning controversial lawyer Ahmednasir Prof, many Kenyans are making the mistake of looking at him as an outsider to the judiciary. No. He is an insider. He has been working with these people, even with the people at the Supreme Court. And the cases involved were big cases, heavyweight cases, which did not involve the current Chief Justice. I hope you're now getting the picture clearly. Bottom line, the judiciary is not going to be finished by outside forces, not the executive, not even the wananchi. It is going to implode. And indeed, it has already started imploding. That is my take. That is exactly what I meant in my previous video, which maybe some did not understand. And I hope that my show today has brought some clarity to this saga that is bang in the center of Kenyan politics right now. Until next time, this is Chris Kumekucha.